Carlton Browne of the FO is a charming British political farce released in 1959. A message from the tiny island of Gailardia, somewhere along the 33rd parallel, arrives at the Foreign Office in London. The territory has been all but forgotten since it was granted independence in 1916, and now staff have to actually look for it on the map to determine whence the message has come. After some confusion, it is established that the government department in charge of relations with this island is the Department for Miscellaneous Territories, whose head, well, whose sole member of staff, appears to be Cadogan Carlton Browne. Terry Thomas is perfectly cast in the role of the useless, upper-class incompetent who only has the job because his father once held high rank in the diplomatic service. So it now falls to Carlton Browne to answer questions from the Foreign Secretary as to what is going on in Gailardia. It appears that not only did Britain fail to recall her representative from the island when independence was granted, but the poor chap has not even been paid since. Now here is the old man sending an urgent message to London to inform them of strange things being afoot on the island. The Soviets seem to be taking a close interest. Apparently their agents are digging all over the island. The British government is quite clear. If there is anything worth having on that island, then Britain, the old colonial power, should have it. So geologists are secretly dispatched to Gailardia. Meanwhile, the king of the island and his immediate heir are assassinated in a bomb plot. The various powers blame each other, yet no one is any the wiser as to who really did it. Now the young King Loris, brought to life by Ian Bannon, enters the field of play. He is actually at university at Oxford when he hears of his elevation to monarch, and needs to fly back to his realm. There he finds a nest of vipers, chiefly the corrupt Prime Minister Amphibolos, played with relish by Peter Sellers, and his uncle the Grand Duke, played by John Le Mesurier, who makes no secret of wanting power for himself. Carlton Browne, meanwhile, is made temporary ambassador and is flown out to Gailardia, together with a military attaché, Colonel Bellingham, to impress upon the new king the importance of good relations with the United Kingdom, and to work out just what on earth is happening on this tiny little island. He finds the place the archetypal banana republic. Poor, corrupt, and utterly ludicrous. The agents of the great powers are all digging. Yes, the French and the United States have also joined in by now. But the Russians apparently have stopped and have sent a message back home. What now unfolds is an international diplomatic farce. The Russians side with the Archduke. The British petition the United Nations to partition the island in the name of world peace. At last the British geologists submit their report, revealing large cobalt deposits on the island. Cobalt being some important ingredient for hydrogen bombs and thus of global strategic importance. Alas, the deposits are on the southern side of the newly created border, so in the hands of the Archduke and his Soviet allies. Desperate diplomatic attempts are made trying to come to terms with the new political reality. When at last a revolution breaks out in Gailardia, the British government sends in a military force, with Bellingham in command and Carlton Browne as the diplomat. The military expedition quickly descends into complete chaos. In the end, all the great powers, with all their agents, admirals and diplomats, are outplayed by an unexpected party. And somehow the incomparable poltroon Cadogan Carlton Browne gets to head back home in glory, only to be knighted on his return. This is a charming, light-hearted little farce, sending up the world of international diplomacy. The sight alone of the island having a white line drawn across it as it is partitioned by the United Nations is worth the ticket. Not everything works as intended, and here and there the film seems a little dated. But its heart is in the right place, and the cast are excellent. I would readily say that this is one of Terry Thomas's finest performances. Peter Sellers was at the height of his powers, and his Prime Minister Amphibolos is delightfully sleazy. Ian Bannon and Luciana Paluzzi make a strikingly handsome couple as the king and the princess. In fact, I believe Miss Paluzzi went on to become a famous Bond girl in the film Thunderball. Also honourable mention must go to Thorley Walters as the posh military attaché, John Le Mesurier as the stern Archduke, and Raymond Huntley as the exasperated British Foreign Secretary. Now please do not misunderstand. If you are seeking some epic investigation of Cold War diplomacy, this is hardly your film. But if you're looking for 1.5 hours of light-hearted fun at the expense of the British establishment, government and military, as well as the surreal world of international diplomacy, you could do a great deal worse than with Carlton Browne of the FO. I very much recommend this film. It is delightful, classy, silly, and frightfully British. Or to quote Mr. Carlton Browne, good show. That is all for now from the projection booth atop the Cyber Pass. Thank you very much, and goodbye.